Lads, two ways of doing this, okay? Shh. I'll show you both methods now. First method is small triangle versus big triangle. So your small triangle will be this one here, okay? And you basically just write down the numbers. Both triangles are similar to each other, so therefore they have the same ratio, but they're just different sizes, okay? So one method of doing it is to say that look, this one's 10, this length is 14, isn't it? Would you agree with that? This length here is 16, and we don't know what length this is here. Okay, so what you could say is that the bigger triangle is 14 divided by 10. The bigger triangle is 1.4 times bigger than the small triangle. Everybody agree with that? Get your 16, multiply by 1.14. 1.4, I mean. Okay. And you get 22.4. Lads, if this yellow line equals 22.4, what does that mean about the x part? X part has to be 6.4. Why? Because it has to add to 22.4. That's one way of doing it. The second way is quicker, and what you know about the second way is that it's just the ratios are the same. So 10 divided by 4 is actually the same as 16 divided by x. 10 divided by 4 is actually the same as 16 divided by x. So 10 divided by 4 is actually 2.5. This means that 16 is 2.5 times bigger than x. Get your 16 divided by 2.5 and you get an answer of 6.4. The algebra way would look something like this. The algebra way would be that you bring up the x. All right, guys. That's 16 divided by 2.5. 6.4. All right, gents. Okay. Lads, construct a perpendicular bisector on AC. No bother. Okay, there's AC. Lads, so perpendicular bisector is the one where you cut it in half. Okay? And the constructions were some of the easiest marks on the test. Go over halfway. Any amount over halfway, lads. And here we go. There's once. Flip it over to your side. There's twice. Now, of course, I didn't make the first one long enough, so I have to go back again. First arc wasn't made long enough. No, that ain't gonna work. There we go. Okay. Now, where your two lines intercept each other, this is known as the perpendicular bisector. You all okay with that? Guys, next thing. Show your, get the circumcircle. Well, the circumcircle is pick another side and do the exact same thing. So we're going to pick a different side. Okay, this one here. Okay, and we go downwards. Okay, I won't use the same mark, just don't want them occupying the same space. There's one red line. Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't want to, just out of stubbornness, but yeah. If you're in the exam, try not to use the same mark because maths teachers. Okay. So lads, slightly off with that last one actually. Should have been slightly further in. All right. Now lads, what's the rule? Where the two perpendicular lines hit, what's that? That's the center, isn't it? Okay. Now, go to your center. Go to one of the corners. Any corner you can get. draw it to the vertex, and if this is done properly, ooh. Now, once again, it's very hard for me to get this exact on the software, but if I was to examine where I might have went wrong, I'll show you now. Small errors add up. Do you see here? Slightly to the left. See there? Slightly to the left. That could cause an error like here and here. If I look at the other one, the other one is also, one of them's also slightly to the left. Only by a mil or two. But small mistakes adds up. So I could have lost maybe 8 out of 10 for that. So just do the best you can. Is that all right? Okay. No. You'd lose a minimum two. One or two. Okay. All right, guys, part B. Now, this one worked quite well, okay? Now, just for future reference, I know I told you only have to learn off this Z, X, and F, but you actually need to know the word that Z stands for. What does Z actually stand for? Alternate. Yeah, you need to learn these words. What's X stand for? Vertically opposite. Okay. Okay. What does ZX F as well? Lads, what does F stand for? Corresponding. That's corresponding. Okay, and finally, C is actually the sum of two interior angles. Lads, what's the two red angles combined? The two red angles combined is 180. It's called sum of two interior angles. Okay, provided the two lines are obviously parallel. Is that okay? That's the extent of your knowledge that you need to know. But there is more stuff, but that's most of it. For them or most of it. Okay. Now, here's the awkward part. Ready? Okay. That's 40. Anybody tell me why it's 40? Very the opposite. Does it ask for a reason? No. Happy days. Now, this is an isosceles triangle. How do I know that's an isosceles triangle? How do I know it's an isosceles triangle? Radiuses, radii. Okay. 180 take away 40 is 140. 140 divided by 2. Both angles have to be the same. And there's 140 left over. So it's got to be 70. Okay. Last question. Work out the angle Z. Now, lads, anybody remember the... there you go. Well done. Still don't know how to do it. All right, lads. Now, lads, the Star Trek sign looks like this. Is there a car that looks like that as well? Citroen, maybe? All right. Now, guys, look at this. Okay. The rule is that the angle at the bottom is twice the angle at the... sorry, the angle at the bottom is twice the angle on top. Provided all 3 points are on the circle, and provided that the center point is at the center of the circle. That always works. Now, look what happens here, guys. Ready? I'm going to change this angle from 120. I'm going to grab it. Oh, sorry. I'm going to change this angle from 120. I'm going to grab it like so. And I'm going to move it up like this. Okay. I'm going to move it up like that. Okay. Now, lads, do you think that's 120 degrees anymore? Lads, why it's not 120 degrees anymore? Exactly. It has to be bigger than 180. Would you agree with that? For argument's sake, 240. If that's 240, what does it make this one here? 120. Now, lads, look at this. 40, 40. Why is that 140? straight angle. Straight angle is 180. Okay. At the three angles combined, it's the same as the yellow angle, but in our case, it's 220. Half 220, 110. All right, lads. X is 30. Reason? Alternate angles. Said doesn't work. I know what you meant, but it's not the proper word. Okay. Nextly, Y is 40. Now, the reason is, now, somebody has put down this, okay? But when they want a reason, generally speaking, they want the reason why you did that. The reason is three angles in a triangle have to add to. That's the reason. Yeah, literally. Okay. Lastly, Z. Now, lads, some of you did corresponding, which is pretty cool. So some of you said that that's 110. Okay. Would you agree that they're vertically opposite each other? Okay. So you could explain it like that. You could say that angle in a semicircle is 180. 70 degrees. Straight angle is 180 degrees. Lads, somebody else who used corresponding. Somebody's really smart and used corresponding. Who was that? Fair play. You added 40 and 30 together to get 70. And you recognised that it's technically an F, didn't you? Yeah, well done. That's pretty slick, to be fair to you. Yeah, I wouldn't expect that, so fair play. There's your F there. Does everybody see the F? He used corresponding angles to prove that was 70 degrees. Okay. All right. Just explain us the issue, was it? Yeah. All right. All right, guys. All right, really quickly. Here's a parallelogram. It's 480. Half of it is obviously 240. Okay. Now, there's something I really want to explain here to you. Okay, guys, you ready for this? If I had a right angle triangle, just a right angle triangle, okay, nothing to do with the question we're doing currently, okay? And for argument's sake, I'm going to make it really easy, right? The base is 20, the height is 10. Everybody cool with that? Now, what happens when I half the base? So currently, would everybody agree that currently its area is what? What's 20 times 10? 20 times 10? 200. Half 200? 100. It currently has an area of 100. What happens if you half the base? What happens if I half it that it's no longer 20, but it's 10? What's the new area then? Yeah, if you half the base, you half the area because it's 10 times 10 is 100. Half of 100 is 50. So what happens if you half the base? A is the midpoint. A is the midpoint and you halved it. So what happens when you half 240? Yeah, that's all. 120. We kill? All right. Good job. Okay. Next one. All right. Sean's gross tax. That's keyword. Gross tax. Okay. 32,000 multiplied by 20%. The remaining 21,000 gets 40%. Multiply and add together. Okay. And what we should get 1,000 combined, was it? What's the first one? Oh, sorry. Here it is. 6,400. 8,400. So that's 16,800. Do I have to take away the tax credit? Nope. This is gross tax. Tax payable is when you take away the tax credit. So you leave it there. You're done. And unfortunately, I could only give 5 out of 10 for anything that wasn't that answer, according to the American scheme. Yes. Oh, sorry. 14,800. PRSI is not a tax. Yeah. Shh. Unless it says the word tax, it doesn't go there. It can't be a charge or. Yeah. Did you find it? All right. Shh. Lads, calculate Sean's net income. Okay. Lads, does everybody agree we're meant to pay 14,800? But we're not going to pay all of that because we have a tax credit. 2,450. So what's that then? 12,350. Is that okay, you guys? 12,350 is tax payable. Shh. Next thing, guys. Right? Ready? Here's what we're going to go for. Lads, we had 53,000. And unfortunately, we lost 12,350 of it to tax. What's our USC? 2208.0. Remember, that's USC. That's a charge, not a tax. And what else did we lose? PRSI. So what's PRSI, guys? Huh? 2,120. PRSI. Oh, sorry. 4% of your gross income. 53,000 multiplied by, and that's 2,120. That's 4% of 53 grand is 2,120. That's the PRSI. Take it away. Who got 36,321.94? All right, guys. This one's really tough because you're already making over the threshold. Guys, any money you make, because you're already making over 32 grand, any money you make from now on, they take 40% off it straight away. Okay? So 40% just gone, no matter what. Okay? So here's how you do this. He gets a raise on his gross income, and it tells me ignore USC and PRSI. Just ignore the two of them. So we got a sum of money. This is how much reached our bank accounts, right? How much was taken off us though? 40% of it was already removed. This means that this accounts for 60% of the money that I actually got. 40% of it was already removed. What's 100% of the money then? Well, divide by 60 to turn it into 1% and multiply by 100 to turn it into 100%. So you get your 1,050, like so. You divide by 60 and you multiply by 100. And you get 1,750. That's how much extra money you should have gotten, but 40% of it was removed. Okay. Then you add that onto your gross income, which is 53 grand to my knowledge, and you got 54,750. All right, guys. Now, D. If you go to the financial maths section in your notes, it will say this formula here. F equals P 1 plus I to the power of T. It will also tell you that I is in decimals. And I'll give you an example in your. So example would be if I'm offered 7%, the I value will actually be 0.07. I'm offered an I value of 4.5%. So what does that mean? I need to enter it as, yeah, exactly. Your final value, P stands for your principal or initial value. Your initial value is 12,000. Your I value then, it's going to be 1 plus your I value. And to what power, lads? How many years are we taking this loan for? 4. Throw all that into the calculator. And your answer is, anybody get the correct answer for this one? 14,000. Yeah, 310. Yeah, 14,310 to the nearest euro. Okay, that's it. Read the formula, use the formula question. Yes, it is. Financial maths under there. Okay. Now, D part 2. This is really difficult. If Sean decides to make monthly repayments on his loan, calculate the equivalent APR. Lads, this is very few of you are getting this question now, but I will try and explain it. More or less an honest question, really. Okay, but we'll give it a go. Ready for this? Okay, guys, look at this. Okay, instead of charging you yearly, they're going to charge you monthly. And it has, so example is if I invested $1,000, everybody happy with $1,000? If I invested $1,000, how much would I get at the end of a year, or how much would it be worth at the end of the year if it was 4.5% APR? Increase it by 4.5%. So get your €1,000 and increase it by 4.5%. Okay, and the answer would be 1,045. Now, we're not doing yearlies, we're doing monthlies. So monthlies would be, it'd be your F value would be this. Once again, very few people getting this out, so don't feel too bad if it's a bit beyond you, okay? Now, we don't know what 1 plus I is, do we? Because it's a monthly interest. That's the point of the question. The point of the question is, we do not know what 1 plus I is. Everybody cool with that? So I'm going to replace 1 plus I with a different letter. I'll replace it with X. Question, how many months are we doing? How many months are we doing? Nope. Calculate the monthly equivalent to a yearly rate. Monthly equivalent to a yearly rate. It's power 12. Now, this is really awkward. X power 12. 1,045 divided by 1,000. Whoever designed the test probably got this off a mock, and whoever designed the mock probably does honors mocks and got confused. So 1.045. This number to the power 12 is 1.045. What would you do if it was a square root? So what would you do if it was a squared number? What would you do? You do 25. You do what's the square root of 25, wouldn't you? What would you do if it's a cube root? What would you do then? You do a cube root this time. What do you do if it's to the power 12? Yeah, you absolutely 12 root it. Does anybody know where the button is for a 12 root? Yeah. This button here, once again, lads, not your fault. $1.0036. So this number here is 1.00367. Now get this. Ready for this? 1.3 would be 30%. 1.03 would be 3%. 1.003 would be what? 0.3%. 0.367%.